Hey guys, this is Rachel with Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to make the Cape Town square from the 2020 VVCAL. So I'm using Shape Disc Katana and a size 3mm hook, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the slip knot and then chain 3 and slip stitch in the third chain from the hook to make my ring. And you can always chain 4 or make a magic ring, whatever center ring method that you prefer. So straight into our center ring, we're going to make beginning DC, which is just a single crochet and a chain 1. So I'm just going to go straight into the center ring with my single crochet instead of chaining up or anything. So just go ahead with your single and then chain 1, and that's going to be the first double crochet of the round. Then you're going to chain 3, and that's going to be for a chain 3 space. And go ahead and in your ring, you're going to have a repeat of chain 3 and 3 double crochet. And we're going to do that until you have a total of 12 double crochet in your center ring. So just 3 DC, and then chain 3. And then 3 DC and chain 3, all the way till you have 12 double crochet total, including that beginning one that you made. Okay, so I've got a total of 12 double crochet here, and you'll notice that you have to do your final chain 3 corner space and then 2 more double crochet so that you can complete it with that beginning DC to make that first 3 DC group. So now I'm going to go ahead and join to finish my round into the chain space of the beginning DC. So just join straight into that chain space with a slip stitch. All right, and now your first round is complete. So now we're going to work round 2, and actually you might think your squares, your center is going to be oriented like this, but actually it's going to go on the diamond. So now we're going to start that process. So the first thing we're going to do is straight into this chain space. I'm going to make beginning DC. So just go straight in with a single crochet and then chain 1. That's the first double crochet of the round. Now you're going to make 6 more double crochet into that chain space. And then you're just going to chain 1 and then 7 double crochet into the next chain space. And so that's going to be your repeat, is just chain 1 and then 7 double crochet into the next chain space. So I've got 7 DC total in the first one. That includes that beginning DC that I made at the beginning. Okay, so you can see my second round is nearly finished. I just need to join my round, but I've got my 7 DC in each chain space and then chain 1 in between those groups. So I've got chain 1 on the hook and just join into this chain of your beginning DC with the slip stitch. And make sure your slip stitch isn't too tight because it needs to lay over that beginning DC. Now you're going to work beginning DC into the next stitch. So not the joining stitch, but the next stitch right here. It's the second DC of this group. So just go straight in with a single crochet and then chain 1. And then you're going to chain 1 as a chain space. And now you're just going to work double crochet, chain 1. And you're not skipping any DCs here. You're just going to work double crochet, chain 1 into all of these doubles. You can see how it's looking so far. DC, chain 1, and what you're gonna do is super simple round. Just work DC, chain 1 into every double crochet around, and you're just gonna skip right over the chain spaces. So just DC, chain 1 in all of the double crochet around. Okay, my round 3 is just about done. I just have to join it. And some easy mistake that I sometimes made when I was making my squares is that I would forget to put a DC into this beginning DC here. So just don't forget to make that DC and chain 1. So this is how your square is looking so far. Now just join into the top chain of that beginning DC with a slip stitch. And then to start round 4, you need to travel over to this double crochet just by making a slip stitch into this chain space right here. So not into the space actually, but into the chain itself. So just slip stitch into that chain, just like that, so it lays over the chain so you can travel to this double crochet. And then in this DC, you're gonna make a single crochet. Just go straight into it, no chaining up. Then chain 2, single crochet in the next double crochet, chain 2, single in the next double as well, and then chain 2. And now you're gonna start with some 3 DC clusters. So you've got 3 singles so far with chain 2 spaces in between. Now you've got chain 2, and in the next double crochet you're going to make a 3 DC cluster. So just yarn over, insert your hook, and pull up a loop. Draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook, and repeat that twice more in the same stitch. Okay, so now you've got 4 loops on your hook, and just draw the yarn through all 4 loops, and that's your first 3 DC cluster. Now chain 2, and make another 3 DC cluster in the next double crochet. And then chain 5. That's going to be your corner, this chain 5 right here. Okay, now your next step is going to be to make a 3 DC cluster in this next double crochet. Chain 2, 3 DC cluster in the next double crochet, chain 2, and now you're at the beginning of your repeat. So in these next 3 double crochet, you're going to work just like you did in the beginning. Single, chain 2, single, chain 2, single, chain 2. And then just go ahead and start this portion over again. And you're going to work that 3 more times until you're back to the beginning. Alrighty, so my round is complete, and I did go ahead and join with the slip stitch into my first single crochet. So I'm just holding it like this so you can see where all the stitches need to be placed. Your 4 3 DC clusters on each corner part, and then the singles on the sides. And that's really what turns your square on the diamond. All right, so now we're gonna go for our second to last round here. Super simple round. We're just gonna make 2 single crochet in each of these chain 2 spaces, and just go straight into your single, and in this center single, you're gonna go ahead and make a stitch, a single crochet. And then just in these chain 2 spaces, make 2 singles in each of them across. Right, every chain 2 space, make 2 singles. Then when you get to your chain 5 corner space, you're going to make 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. Chain 2 and 3 doubles. And then I'll kind of hold it up so you can see how that looks, and you're just going to repeat that 3 times until you get back to the beginning. So just remember, it's going to be 2 singles in each of these chain spaces across. Make sure that you put a single in the center single crochet here, and then at the corner 3 double crochet, 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2 that is. All right, all the way till you get back to the beginning. Okay, so here we go. Second to last round is finished, and this is how it's going to look whenever that round is complete. I went ahead and joined with the slip stitch into the first single of the round, and now we're just going to work the final round, which is a single crochet round. Just make single crochet in all of the stitches across until you find the corner space, and just make 3 singles in that corner space. So just single in all the stitches, and then when you get to the corner, make 3 singles in the corner. All right, so I'm at the corner here, just do 3 singles, and just work that way all the way around. And just for the sake of time, I'll just go ahead and show you that here's how the square looks when it's all finished. I joined with the slip stitch into the first single of the round, and you might just want to double check that your stitch count is 88 singles on the final round. Just in case you're doing the cowl, your squares all need to have the same final stitch count of 88 single crochet. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you guys how I would weave this tail in, because sometimes I know you guys like when I show this in the video. So I did go ahead and make a long loop and cut it when I made my slip stitch. So now I'm going to go from back to front with my hook through both loops of the stitch to the left of my joining stitch. Grab the yarn tail and pull it to the back. Now we're just going to bury the tail by going through back loop only, of starting with the stitch to the right of the joining stitch, through back loop only from back to front. Grab the yarn tail and pull it to the back. And you're just going to do that same motion until your tail is buried. So back to front through back loop only until the tail is totally buried. All right, and then your once you do your next round or your joining round, the tail will be kind of encased because you're going to work through both loops of that stitch. So the tail is going to be trapped in there. And I've never had a tail work itself loose with this method, and it's super easy if you have a row of the same stitches. When you have lace, you can still do it, but it's mostly good for when you have solid stitches like this. All right, so that's how I weave my yarn tail. And for this one, I just go around and around here, and then maybe go up through, and then just snip it off. All right, so this is the Cape Town square from the 2020 VVCAL. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.